Hello and welcome to our regular SIG Usability meeting. So first thing first, I had a couple people come up and talk to me about what time in the day that we're doing this. And for people in India, it's almost impossible to make such a late meeting. So the proposal is to just move this to 9 a.m. Tuesdays and see if we get better attendance as a result. I'm going to give that a shot. I don't feel like we have enough regular attendees right now to really stick to our current time because attendance has been pretty low so far. So if anyone has a huge problem with that, let me know, and we can do a more formal process. But for the people I talked to who are having difficulty attending, they said that if I moved it to 9 a.m. they could come. So I thought we'd just give that a shot and see how it went. So other than that, all of us were at Kubecon. So I think my favorite question to ask on the post-Kubecon meeting is, did anyone get any good takeaways from any favorite sessions, especially related to the SIG? But like, was there any session you went to or keynote that you attended where you're like, oh yeah, this is like something we should totally think about it, SIG usability?
I think for me, you've always spoken about this, Tasha, to me, but the developer experience was another piece where I kind of saw a lot of sessions about it and also people talking about it. And then also coming back to office, I've started hearing a lot about it. So even though I keep looking at user experience from like one perspective, I have to like now shift my view and also look at from another one. So I think for me now my, study is going to be towards that a little bit.
Awesome. What kind of user experience talks did you go to? Was it like kind of about like a developer dashboard or about the
So
CLI or?
no, I went to the ones where they had the user stories, where they had a panel of people talking about their developer experience and how they are integrating to different tools. So that was one. And then I went to another talk where they were talking about using different tools. So they talked about Harbor. So it was actually it was very VMware focused. It was by,
Was it Michael?
no, it wasn't a VMware person speaking.
Oh,
I think it was Viacom or something.
okay.
But they were using a lot of VMware tools, which was very interesting, specifically Harbor, and they spoke about Octant,
Oh, cool.
which was interesting because Octant is so new and it's about data visualization and kind of visualizing your Kubernetes environment. And it's interesting because we internally didn't use it as much, or we haven't spoken about it so much. So
Uh,
just kind of seeing how things spread out outside of VMware, even though it's a VMware product, was very interesting to me. So
yeah,
that I think that was my big takeaway from.
awesome. And the subtext to what Pamela was saying about Octane is our team hasn't been using it yet, but many other teams are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I thought seeing the octant pickup there was really interesting. Obviously, it's something I've been super interested in using as sort of a platform to like expose objects in like in a pattern that then many different companies can say, yes, this is the pattern, and then you have one open source dashboard that then can show
Yeah.
any of those objects regardless of where you're running it. So I think that that's a real strength. And I know I talked to Brian about it and I don't know if he was just being nice to me, but he said that he really appreciated that I noticed the platform angle of it because that's really how he's thinking about it too, is just making it very pluggable so you can show different,
Yeah.
yeah, different tools. And someone shot me a demo of something someone had done with Octant, and I was like really impressed. I don't know if that was you, Pamela, but I was like, whatever. I was just like, wow, like this is really cool. I think I was grabbing some screenshots of a presentation the other day. Yeah.
Hopefully we should be able to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just like the whole idea of, I think with Kubernetes, I've realized, yes, you have your main product that's using Kubernetes as a way of, workload management and workload creation. But the strength actually comes in when you identify these other pieces that are open source and how you integrate with them internally for your. So yeah, I think I took away way more this time in terms of the open source community than last year because I was learning so much about Kubernetes last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I talked to Brendan Burns about very briefly at the Microsoft booth was he wants to come to our SIG and talk to us about internationalization. Did he talk to you too, Himanshu?
Yes, actually, I had a like quick chat with him, and he mentioned that he's willing to like join this meeting, and if we guys are interested, he may give a quick demo on how to do the internationalization thing on code level. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. I think if we do sign him up to come and do that, we should try and find out, we should try and get the word out to more people who are really interested in internationalization so we have the right crew of people here. Because
Yeah.
I know there's some people who are actively working on it, so it would be just cool to kind of get the word out more broadly in case more people
Yeah.
want to be here and ask him questions.
When you say internationalization, does it mean like localization, like making it more local to different areas that
With
it's
specific language. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said he was talking to Himanshu about Korea or something. Was that right?
So we were talking about Japanese translation because I reached out to a Slack group here, and I was like, I don't know who responded, but they said like there's a demand on like converting the commands to Japanese, and it's not well maintained, so that's why I was talking to him on that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he said he'd be super happy to do a walkthrough and kind of, if anyone wants to start contributing to the code or sort of take it further than he has been able to, like he would love to have people sign up for that. So yeah, if we have more people who are interested in it, let's just pull them in and get him to come and do a presentation and a walkthrough, and maybe they can get going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And Gabby, how did your talks at Kubecon go?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was signed up to do one talk at the IBM Cloud booth, and I think that went well. It was just about like design process and like how we take in customer input. But one thing that that I had happened to me on Friday before KubeCon was there was another slot that opened up at the IBM Cloud booth, and so they were like, "Can you give 2 talks at really last minute?" And so I was like, wanting to take advantage of that. So I kind of ended up putting together an Kube SIG Usability talk for that last one.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was our last talk on Thursday, so kind of like late in the day. But that was cool. It got some pretty good reception.
I saw your blog post on Medium about SIG usability, and I thought it was an awesome write-up.
Thank you. I'm so sorry I didn't share that before.
It was great though when I read it.
I was like
Yeah.
Googling around, and I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. Popped right up.
I had a massive like influx of like travel and work like leading up to KubeCon. So like I think I wrote that like on the flights and just was not able to like attend meetings before it. So I apologize that like you had to find it that way.
Oh no, it was great. I mean, I was just really impressed. I was like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's see. So I think we need to figure out what we want our top projects to be sort of for the coming couple months, since I think it would be really good for us to go to the next KubeCon with like some real progress under our belt as a SIG especially. So it sounds like Himanshu, you are going to continue to drive internationalization, localization, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'll work on that going forward. Yeah.
Cool. And then from my perspective, I'd really like to see us make some progress on our user studies that we were sort of starting to sketch out as a group before KubeCon, and sort of come together and agree, like, what do we want our first one to be? Do we want it to be sort of that, we had sort of one where we did a jobs to be done one, but we kind of agreed that maybe that would be something we needed to spec out and then bring in an outside group to like really do the work for which we could go to the CNCF for funding. It would be fine. But then we also had a questionnaire that we were putting together, which would just be sort of a developer experience questionnaire to sort of understand, who are the users, and in a different format. And I feel like that's something we could really push forward ourselves as well.
I was able to come up with a quick draft of
cool.
maybe just like a conversation starter based off of the proposal.
Okay.
If y'all were interested in me sharing that.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Okay, yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Okay. Share this. Okay. So this is a little bit of just looking for feedback, trying to kind of like take a step forward from kind of like the last jobs to be done proposal. And so the way that I'm kind of framing this survey is, let's see if we can start getting some information about the things that people are trying to achieve with Kubernetes. So one of the questions that I was kind of running through my mind is, who would we want to take the survey, and kind of like how would we almost like qualify the that response. And so one of my thoughts, and it doesn't have to be this, but one of my thoughts was maybe if we considered people that attended Kubecon as kind of like a factor in, this is a response that we want to take into consideration. So that's just an example. And then an example of how we might do that would be have these questions on this first page. So these ones that are kind of trying to be non-obvious as far as criteria that we're using in order to kind of like qualify you for the survey. So I ask about like geo, what's your location, company size, container usage. So if you currently use it or have future plans to use it as a proof of concept in development, testing, or in production. So this would kind of be similar to one of the questions that the CNCF survey has. So they use a similar type of question. And so using it also for Kubernetes usage, if they have plans to use it. But kind of like using this open source community involvement question. So it indicated if you have used or attended any of these Kubernetes related resources. So you have like the YouTube channel, the blog, a local meetup, attended a Kubecon and Stack Overflow. So just as an example, if we wanted to use attending Kubecon as the criteria, then I think that these questions kind of make it seem non-obvious. That would be kind of like the screening that we would do. So based on that, then we get into the later questions, which trying to keep this simple and kind of giving them the option of letting us follow up with them, like a quick 15-minute video chat to kind of dive a little bit deeper into what is it exactly that you're trying to achieve, and kind of like letting them give us their contact info. So we have job role, what you are trying to achieve with Kubernetes or the job that you're trying to do. And then we have NPS, like if we wanted to use some kind of baseline metric, which I think would be kind of cool, because since we are an overarching SIG, we're not asking them like what rate your experience on like the specific thing that a SIG might own, but more of like the holistic experience of using Kubernetes. And then please explain. So this is still in draft form. So wording is very much TBD here. But that's just kind of like, yeah. It's a draft.
I think that's a good start. I guess, why do you think attending KubeCon is a good prequal?
Honestly, I think that's, I'm open as far as kind of like what y'all think would be a good prequel. Yeah. I think that this is an example of kind of like, and depending on the prequel that we choose, how we would screen for it.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, because in some ways being able to attend KubeCon, KubeCon's just expensive to get to, so not, a lot of people may not go, but on the other hand, maybe people who do attend have some more decision-making power in their organization, so I was just wondering why you picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think this looks good. And then also, I'd like it if we took another look at the other format that we were looking at, which was, so I found that the other SIGs really love it when people just get data on how people are doing and using various tooling. And so I felt like that's maybe a service we could do for the community, is just get like a lot more data on sort of how people are finding the usability of various tools and their adoption rates and stuff like that. So I think this would be a great kickoff for the Jobs to be Done survey. And honestly, I don't think I would change that much about it, if anything. And then I think maybe if we can also move forward with more of our like wide, like just get as many responses as possible sort of data gathering approach that for that doc that we were putting together. I'll pull it up just in case no one knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and while you're looking it up, I think that getting specific feedback on specific kind of like tooling and aspects of Kubernetes, 100% agree with that. I think this kind of like draft here, it's like it's pretty simple and kind of like high level, but kind of hoping to do some initial data gathering, kind of like also potentially like get some people that would be willing to follow up with us so that we can kind of like flesh out whatever kind of like collection we would want to do on the more specific aspects of things that people do with Kubernetes.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. I sent you the link. It was actually one that you kicked off, which I was pretty sure it's the user survey proposal.
Let's see. Is it in this chat?
Yeah, it's just in the Zoom chat.
Oh. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, this one. Yep. Yeah. So I think this is definitely kind of like this was inspired off of like the Stack Overflow survey of like let's like gather all the things that are kind of like behavioral or maybe like demographic about like the Kubernetes community. A little bit of overlap with the CNCF survey that is sent out as well. I think definitely you know if we're talking kind of like first steps, maybe doing like a smaller survey to kind of like send something out and start gathering kind of like those responses might help us with fleshing out like this like more kind of like detailed, more extensive survey.
Yeah.
So maybe I missed, sorry, Gabby, are we targeting any date when we are sending out these surveys?
We haven't gotten to that yet. We're just really talking about what we want out of the surveys and the survey design.
Okay.
But ideally, this is something that I think we'd like to get out there early next year and then start having results that we can start sharing with the community, you know, basically before Kubecon Amsterdam.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, but how do people feel about that kind of like breaking up the getting to the larger survey through like smaller steps to like building up towards it?
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
And obviously like I know that we've had some kind of like it would be fun to like if we've had some user researchers kind of like hop on the call like in the past as well, so it would be awesome to also kind of see like, you know, like if you have done if they've done any kind of like this type of data collection in the past and kind of like how they formatted those questions, just like what's the best way of formatting them, you know. So it would be really great to get that type of feedback.
Yeah. I think we can probably ask Boaz to take a look, although I think Boaz already took a look. And then I know that, what if we also post just a question to our mailing list? Because I know that when we originally kicked off this SIG, there were a bunch of user research groups at the various cloud companies who said that they were really interested in this. And so we could just we could just try and facilitate a conversation by the mailing list, and see if that gets us more feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Cool. Okay. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to talk about today?
I did start putting something together for the icons. Maybe next time we can share it. It's really basics. Actually, I can share a little bit right now. But the idea is to not just share something, but to ask people what they would want us to also work through. Because if we are trying to define something, it'd be nice to kind of get everybody's viewpoint of like what they want us to look at. So I kind of put this document together for, this is what we're using internally right now. So these are the icons that we use across for like our products. And so we can bring this in together into the next meeting when I have it worked out, but we don't have icons for all object types in Kubernetes. So I think we could do like an email with everybody asking them that what objects they think are important that need icons, because it's not going to be possible to do it for all. And yeah, then we can share it with everybody and kind of get everybody's feedback on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks awesome to me, Pamela.
Yeah, and the idea is to just like kind of have an icon, have some description. Everybody has a different description around like these objects, but I'm just collecting them from like the documentations from Kubernetes. Yeah, I'll put something together.
Cool.
Anything on top of your mind that's like missing here? I know services is like one of the important things. There's ingress and egress that we could be probably have an icon for. Is there anything else? And I'm looking at it at a very high level right now.
It's hard to say. I'd be interested in seeing like what the email responses come back with, because there's so many Kubernetes resources. That's kind of like which ones would need the icons.
Yeah. Cool.
Like replica sets and deployments and like all that stuff.
Yeah, I could see PVCs also in here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, random comment, but there was a cool product that was kind of like making its way around our team, called Infra app. I don't know if y'all have heard of it, but it looked kind of cool. Just gonna share it real quick.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
This one. So it says that it's kind of like just trying to help troubleshoot problems faster. And so it's just kind of like a GUI interface on top of just your clusters. And so I just thought it was just really worth sharing in case anybody wanted to check it out like outside of the meeting time.
Yeah, that is really cool. So is this just like a, where does it come from? Like,
I think it's just a product in private beta right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I can share the link.
For a second, I thought it was like just like an open source website where you could like put your error message and like people would tell you, like almost like Stack Overflow or something. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just send the link out after the meeting.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, does anyone have anything else they'd like to chat about?
Yeah, I just want to introduce you guys Josephine. She is also from Pivotal, and she reached out to me last week that she's very interested in SIG usability and she's new to Kubernetes. So I said, you're most welcome to join our meetings.
Oh, very cool.
And she's there.
Welcome, right. Josephine.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't realize that it was today. Also, so next time I'll be on time. I also have to jump to another meeting. Okay. So, it was lovely to meet you all. I think I could do a proper introduction next time.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
All right, bye.
So speaking of that, I was just looking at the calendar, and the next meeting's going to be December 24th. So I'm gonna cancel that one, and then our meeting after that is January 14th, which I'll move to 9 a.m. So I'll cancel the current meeting notice, resend one for 9 a.m., and then we can just start doing a 9 a.m. Tuesdays and see if that works better for people.
Yep, that works for me.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Cool. Okay, well, good chatting with everybody. I feel like we were on a podcast instead of a regular SIG meeting. This is
I
great.
really liked the meeting though.
Yeah, totally.
I thought it was really nice and casual, so it's good.
The friendliest SIG in Kubernetes. Cool. Okay,
All
I'll
right.
chat with y'all later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.